Hey guys, Mark Robinson here. I'm your host, and welcome to another episode of Wealth Rewired. Tonight, I'm actually going to talk about a bit of a topic that's getting closer and closer to everyone's mind, and that is the death of the old financial system. And for me, the real key takeaways from here is things like, in reality, privacy is going to be the new currency moving forward, right? Let me just quickly adjust that. How's that? And, really, you can see it online more and more and more. I'm seeing, the cracks are really showing. Uh, I don't know about you guys, but trying to get money from a financial institution into crypto right now, especially here in Australia, is virtually impossible. And so, what I want you guys to think about is, is the current system actually working? I think we could all agree, right, that it's not. If it was, there would be not as much debt. The governments wouldn't be anywhere near in the sort of financial trouble they're in. We're having inflation manipulation. I don't know. I can tell you right now, the government thinks that inflation is still sitting around there, under 5%. And we all know it's not, right? As I think I've mentioned it on a couple of episodes, Billy and I, we love to travel. You guys know that. And what we found was when we're traveling, everything, everything has gone up by at least 20%, right? You've got central banks are basically printing money, trillions and trillions of dollars out of thin air. And if you wanted to go down that rabbit hole, guys, how can a country who is able to print their own money be in debt, right? I want you to really think about that, because I look at it and I go, if I can print my own money, why do I have to borrow it? Okay, and if I am borrowing it, off who am I borrowing it from, and where did they get it in the first place, right? So if we think about it, right, the current model, it's broken, right, and you can see that it's broken. And so what we're finding even more and more is the trust. The trust just is no longer there, right? I haven't trusted my banks or governments for many, many years, and even experts, right? And I actually tell, I mean, this is going to sound weird, guys, but when I was a financial planner, I used to tell my clients, don't trust me, right? And what I meant by that was I wanted them to make sure that they ultimately did their own research on what we were giving advice on, right? And this is what I love about being in the education part rather than in advice, because I can't give you advice. I still don't want you to trust me. I want you to do your own research. In our disclaimers, we actually say, hey, you can find this information yourself if you stop watching, get off Facebook, stop watching Netflix or TikTok. Yeah. And, and then when you make up your own decision, then I do want you to trust me. Yeah, I don't want you to just come and take my word for it. I've been in this game now for over 35 years. I know exactly how the current financial systems work. And I've been building another system for well over 10 years now. In fact, we're coming up to 12 years in February, all right, 2026. So what I'm seeing, right, is the largest capital movement, right, is to go into private ecosystems like crypto, like gold, silver, certain types of diamonds, et cetera, right? And you can understand why, because what happened is back in, I think it was about 2017, here in Australia, the government's actually brought in a bail-in law, and they did it on the 14th of February, right? And that happens to be Valentine's Day, and no one really was thinking about what our government was doing on Valentine's Day. We all know what they were trying to do. And they basically brought in this thing called a bail-in law, which basically means that you can actually have your deposits, right? The money that you put into the bank can use that to bail themselves out if they ever get into trouble, right? And this is why, we're so passionate about what we do. We have created a bank, a platform, and we're going to take it to another level over the coming months, right? Where we're going to have a banking license where we won't be able to get into trouble because we won't be lending money. Okay, and it's really key, and that's an interesting topic, right? We've also got things like, the central bank digital currencies coming in, or CBDCs. That is a topic that I'll talk more about another time, but I really ultimately want you to think about, um, why the government's pushing these. Why are they pushing not only central bank digital currencies, but also digital IDs as well. And they keep bringing it in about it's for the safety, it's for your own safety. It's for this, it's for that. I personally think, the only people that need digital IDs right now is the people in Parliament, right? And the only people that should be on, or the only institutions that should be on digital currencies is our government, right? Because that's the only people we should literally be monitoring. Is that that's a fair comment, right? So have a think about that, guys. And yet all of a sudden, what they're trying to do is make sure for our safety, they want all us to have digital IDs, and they want all of us to have to use their digital currencies, which isn't right. Okay. So probably the biggest thing over the next decade is going to be all about privacy. And I'm going to bring fast becoming a good friend of mine, a guy called Tim. And I'm going to bring him on the show, and he's going to show us how important privacy is. But not only that, how simple it can be to actually put in privacy, right? And different layers so that you are fully protected online. It doesn't matter what you do, you choose what people see and where, right? And over the next decade, I'm going to say decade, but in reality, over the next 3 to 5 years, this is going to be the most valuable asset you'll ever own, and that's going to be your privacy. Okay. So the real key from here, like, what are the solutions? Well, for me, the solutions are things like decentralization, the Web3, blockchain, tokenized assets, right? This is where we can redistribute the power from the institutions to the individuals, right? Like, we're basically the Napster movement, right? Or the Napster moment for when it comes to finance. And it's important to understand that. So what does that mean? Right? It's things like fintech and AI, and this is where we can converge. Yeah. And we'll have things like smart contracts and AI investing tools and peer to peer lending, right? And just this allows you to basically cut out the middlemen, right? The new bank is definitely it's becoming you plus your network. And this is pretty important, right? And I'm really excited to build out, what we're doing. I know I'm not going to talk about private pay today, but if you want to go to privatepay.app, right, it's our new fintech platform. It's where we bring cryptocurrency and banking together, and it's going to simplify your life where you can have bank accounts in multiple jurisdictions all on the one platform. You'll have a Visa debit card. You'll have, a MasterCard debit card. You'll have be able to go from directly from your bank account to crypto without anybody asking any questions, and then move it from your crypto to anywhere else in the world. Yeah, and it's pretty important. Little plug there, right? But the key, why it's so important though, guys, is we've got this massive transfer that's about to happen where we're going to have about $68 trillion moving from the baby boomers, right? Or the silent generation as well. There's still a few of them around, and we're so grateful that they're still here with us. But also, the boomers to Gen X, millennials, Gen Zs, right? And unfortunately, most of them are really not only unprepared for this type of wealth to come to them, but they're also uneducated, right? And the hardest part there is you got to get ahead of the wave, because if you want to truly keep that transfer of wealth, right, or even get access to some of them, if you're not going to get, if your parents weren't so lucky to have homes or whatever, you want to know where to look, right? And we're going to share a lot of these as well. Because I can tell you right now, guys, the new rules of money, right? Money moves at incredible speeds, right? And it's not just about the cash side of things, but it's in reality, it's all around the code, right? Or I move money faster through my cryptocurrency than I ever could through my bank. Yeah. And the winners around who understand the new rules of money will be those that understand liquidity, that understand tokenization, right? And that truly understand what community finance is. Yeah, it's so important to understand that. And by having these private ecosystems, they are starting to and will replace public trust. Yeah. And that's what I mean by when I talk about private pay and the community behind it called Private Members Alliance, right? It's platforms like these that are really going to help and empower members, not corporations. Yeah. And so that brings us into like the sovereign investor movement. It's really understanding that this is the key, right? People want back, they want to take back control. We're tired of it. We've gone, you know what? Enough is enough. Yeah. So people are taking back their control, but how do they do that? Yeah. And one of the key things here is setting up private structures, offshore diversification, and building wealth ecosystems that are outside the traditional norm, right? That you don't need bank accounts, and imagine partnering with banks that get this, they're truly ahead of it. That's why they allow platforms like ours to plug into it. Didn't mean it to be a bit of a, I didn't mean it to be a private play plug, guys. I genuinely didn't, but it's sort of working that way, right? And so the key here, though, right, is if you understand all this, then what we need to do is look at the energy and the frequencies around the economics of all this, right? We want to have a look at the external system collapsing, right, as our inner systems start to upgrade. Yeah. The external systems collapsing and as the inner systems upgrades. And your state of consciousness literally will determine your financial outcome. And if you understand this, especially with the externals moving so fast, how are we going to have to do this? And this is things like, breathing and getting, doing a Reiki session. My beautiful wife, Billy, who's not on this call, she's our co-host. She's a grandmaster with money Reiki. She's a master in Reiki as well, just, general Reiki. And I'm telling you guys, the incredible results she's getting with doing Reiki sessions and what have you. I'll make sure a team drops a link if you want to book a call with her. You don't have to be face to face, guys. It can be online. That's the beauty of how energy works, right? So you'll be able to get there and start to just realize that you're in full control. Yeah. Even if we can't control what's going on out there in the external world, right? I remember years ago, I used to listen to a guy called John Greenhull. John Greenhull. John Kehoe, right? And dead set, he used to talk about, don't sweat the small stuff. And then he'd say, it's all small stuff, right? And that has really been under all the financial pressure I've been in the past, and having an accountant cost me $1 million to fix his mistakes, having someone steal $3 million of us, and another opportunity going south, many years ago. The having that little wee thing, it's all small stuff, right? I couldn't control any of it. So why would I then go down, this sort of go down that path, right? So I really want you to get it if you understand that. And then recently what I've done is I've been really focusing on doing a lot of breath work. I noticed that by controlling your breath, you control everything. Yeah, I'm doing a lot of cold plunges now. And I'm, it's at like 8 degrees. I know it's not super cold, super cold, right? But it's the temperature that I need to try and drop a bit of weight. And by doing that, guys, what that allows me to do is with my breathing and jumping into this cold water, I'm being able to get really centered really, really fast, right? And, I'm doing 4, 5, and sometimes 6 minutes. I don't do more than 6 minutes. A guy called Gary Brecker, just gone a bit sideways here, guys. A guy called Gary Brecker. He talks about, if you want to really drop weight fat fast, you jump into 7 to 10 degrees for between 4 and 6 minutes. Yeah. He says it produces this protein, brown fat, I think he calls it. And you burn it really fast. Yeah. So, hey, I'm keeping a real close tab on everything that I do there, and I'll let you know, right, as I go. Okay. Anyway, back to where we are, right? So what do we do, right? So if you think about it, we really want to start to become a creator profile, more of a go from consumers to creators, right? So start to identify how can you create better rather than consume. And for me, the key here is for you to get prep, right? In summary, guys, I want you to be prepared. Right. I don't want you to panic. I want you to just stay calm and get prepared. Right. We still have a bit of time. You don't have to worry or fear the collapse coming, but you want to be prepared for the collapse, right? It's understand if you can understand the shift, right? It's not the end of money, it's going to be an upgrade. And that's the important part of it. Yeah. So guys, call to action on here. I would love for you guys to do your homework on, things like the central bank digital currencies, digital ID. And then also, like I said, check out privatepay.app, right? It's our new banking platform. We're really excited. Look, I've today, Tuesday, the 7th of October, it's live, right? But you'll have to join the wait list because we're just doing some final tweaks in the background. Okay. So yeah, go check it out, guys. Privatepay.app or www.privatepay.app. Yeah. And we love to get, if you've got if you have anything you've liked in this session, guys, comment below. As always, if you want to subscribe, please click the thumb button wherever you are listening, whether you're on Spotify, YouTube, or any other through our emails and what have you, guys, on our website. We are grateful. Share it with your people that you know, and I see you on the other side. See you on the next episode. Bye for now.